Motivation is often misunderstood. Many believe it's about external rewards, money, titles, or recognition, but these are fleeting. Real motivation doesn't come from outside. It arises from within, from a deeper place that aligns passion with purpose. When motivation is intrinsic, it sustains us beyond any immediate gain or loss. It's the difference between working because you have to and working because you want to. At the heart of motivation is purpose. Purpose is more than a statement or a goal. It's the reason that pulls you out of bed even when the odds seem against you. When people see how their efforts contribute to something greater than themselves, motivation transforms. It becomes commitment. It becomes relentless. Purpose fuels perseverance even in the face of setbacks. Autonomy plays a critical role in motivation. When people are given freedom to choose how they work, creativity and ownership flourish. Control over one's actions breeds responsibility and passion. Micromanaging or rigid rules suffocate this energy. Instead, the environment must encourage exploration and self-direction. Autonomy is not just a luxury, it's a necessity for sustained motivation. Mastery, the drive to improve, is another pillar of motivation. People are naturally drawn to challenges that push their abilities and expand their skills. When individuals experience progress, no matter how small, it releases satisfaction and ignites further effort. This hunger for growth is more powerful than any external carrot. It is the engine of innovation and excellence. Motivation also requires meaningful challenges. Tasks that are too easy lead to boredom. Tasks that are impossible lead to frustration. The sweet spot is in between, where effort matches ability and success is within reach but not guaranteed. This balance keeps motivation alive. It invites engagement, curiosity, and resilience. Finally, recognition and connection amplify motivation. Feeling valued by others and connected to a team or mission provides emotional fuel. Recognition is not just about awards, but about meaningful acknowledgement that someone's work matters. Connection builds trust and belonging. Together, they create an environment where motivation can thrive, even through difficult seasons. In solving the puzzle of motivation, we must look beyond superficial incentives. It requires understanding what truly drives human behavior: purpose, autonomy, mastery, challenge, and connection. When these elements align, motivation ceases to be a puzzle. It becomes the foundation for extraordinary work and lasting impact. Motivation is often seen through the lens of external rewards, bonuses, promotions, recognition, or punishments. This view assumes that people work because of what they get in return, but this understanding is incomplete. While extrinsic motivators can spark action, they rarely sustain it. True, lasting motivation comes from within. It is intrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is driven by internal desires, passions, and values. It is about doing something because it matters to you, because it fulfills a personal sense of purpose or curiosity. Extrinsic motivation, by contrast, is dependent on outside factors. It's about completing tasks to earn rewards or avoid penalties. This can be effective in the short term, especially for straightforward, repetitive tasks. But when work demands creativity, problem-solving, or deep engagement, extrinsic motivators lose power. In fact, over-reliance on external rewards can even undermine intrinsic motivation, a phenomenon known as the overjustification effect. When people begin to feel they're only working for a paycheck or praise, their internal drive diminishes. Their sense of ownership and passion fades. Intrinsic motivation activates different parts of the brain than extrinsic motivation. It's linked to autonomy, competence, and relatedness, the psychological needs identified in self-determination theory. When these needs are met, motivation flourishes naturally. Autonomy allows individuals to feel in control of their actions. Competence fuels the desire to improve and master skills. Relatedness connects us socially and emotionally to others. These elements create an internal environment where motivation is self-sustaining. People who are intrinsically motivated engage with their work because it resonates with their identity or values. They experience flow, a state of deep focus and immersion, because the activity itself is rewarding. The work becomes its own reward. This is why intrinsic motivation is so powerful. It generates energy that is resilient to setbacks and distractions. It fuels persistence even when external rewards are absent or delayed. Cultivating intrinsic motivation requires understanding what drives individuals at a deeper level. It's not enough to offer bonuses or titles. Leaders and organizations must tap into what people find meaningful. This involves listening, observing, and creating environments that align with personal and collective values. When people see their work as an expression of their beliefs or goals, motivation shifts from obligation to inspiration. Intrinsic motivation is also closely tied to creativity and innovation. When people are motivated by genuine interest rather than external pressure, they are more likely to experiment, take risks, and push boundaries. They are less afraid of failure because their motivation is not contingent on immediate approval or reward. This leads to breakthroughs and new ideas that would be impossible in a purely extrinsically motivated environment. However, intrinsic motivation is not always easy to ignite or maintain. It requires a foundation of trust, psychological safety, and meaningful connection. People need to feel safe to explore and fail without fear of judgment. They need to believe that their contributions matter. Without this, intrinsic motivation can wither. Even the most passionate individuals will struggle to sustain energy if the environment is hostile or dismissive. While intrinsic motivation is ideal, extrinsic motivators are not irrelevant. They can complement intrinsic drives when used thoughtfully. Recognition, for example, can affirm a person's sense of competence and value. Incentives can help signal priorities and create initial engagement. The key is balance, ensuring that external rewards support rather than replace intrinsic motivation. In practical terms, fostering intrinsic motivation involves designing work that is meaningful, challenging, and offers autonomy. It means encouraging mastery through opportunities for growth and learning. It means connecting people's efforts to a larger purpose that resonates emotionally and intellectually. When these conditions are met, motivation evolves from a task to a calling. Individuals who understand their intrinsic motivators are more likely to navigate obstacles and remain committed. They are less dependent on the fluctuating presence of external rewards. They cultivate internal resilience that sustains long-term effort. This internal drive also contributes to well-being and satisfaction, as motivation rooted in personal meaning is deeply fulfilling. Organizations that prioritize intrinsic motivation create cultures of innovation, engagement, and loyalty. Employees are not just doing a job, they are part of a mission. They bring their whole selves to the work and are willing to go beyond what is required. This is where extraordinary performance emerges, not from pressure, but from passion. Understanding the distinction between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation also reframes leadership. Leaders become facilitators of internal drive rather than enforcers of compliance. They focus on unlocking potential through purpose, autonomy, and mastery rather than controlling behavior with rules and incentives. This shift transforms the workplace from a transactional environment to one of collaboration and creativity. Ultimately, intrinsic motivation is the key to sustainable success. It is the engine that powers not just achievement, but fulfillment and innovation. Recognizing this distinction helps individuals and organizations design systems and cultures where motivation thrives naturally, not because it's forced, but because it is deeply felt. Purpose is one of the most powerful and enduring sources of motivation. It acts as a guiding star that gives direction to effort and meaning to the work we do. When individuals connect their tasks to a larger purpose, motivation transcends momentary enthusiasm and becomes a deep, sustaining force that fuels persistence even when challenges arise. Purpose is not simply about setting goals or meeting targets. It is about understanding why the work matters on a fundamental level, both personally and collectively. A sense of purpose helps to align day-to-day activities with broader values and long-term aspirations. Without this alignment, motivation often falters because tasks can feel arbitrary, disconnected, or irrelevant. Purpose creates context. It answers the question, why am I doing this? And the answer transforms how we approach obstacles, setbacks, and the grind of routine work. When purpose is clear, even difficult tasks become opportunities to contribute to something greater, enhancing engagement and satisfaction. Purpose has a unique ability to inspire intrinsic motivation. When people see that their work has significance beyond immediate results, it stirs a deeper emotional commitment. This emotional engagement taps into core human needs for meaning and belonging. It moves individuals from compliance to commitment and from effort to passion. Purpose provides a narrative that people can connect to, a story that integrates their work with their identity and values. Purpose also plays a critical role in resilience. Motivation based solely on external rewards can waver when those rewards are delayed or uncertain. Purpose, on the other hand, acts as an internal compass that keeps people moving forward despite setbacks. It provides a reason to persist when external conditions are tough or when progress seems slow. Purpose-driven individuals are more likely to view failures as part of a meaningful journey rather than as dead ends. Furthermore, purpose fosters a sense of ownership. When people feel connected to the why behind their work, they take greater responsibility for outcomes. This ownership is not about control, but about commitment and accountability. It encourages initiative and creativity because individuals want their contribution to be meaningful and impactful. They are less likely to do the bare minimum and more likely to innovate and go the extra mile. Organizations that cultivate purpose create environments where motivation flourishes naturally. When leadership communicates a compelling vision and aligns it with individual roles, it creates a shared sense of mission. Employees see themselves as part of a community working toward a common goal, which builds trust and collaboration. This collective purpose strengthens motivation by adding social and emotional dimensions to individual effort. Purpose also enhances focus and decision-making. When the overarching goal is clear, it becomes easier to prioritize actions and make choices that align with that goal. This clarity reduces distractions and enhances efficiency because people understand what truly matters. Purpose acts as a filter through which decisions are evaluated, ensuring resources and energy are directed toward meaningful activities. The power of purpose extends beyond the workplace. People who find purpose in their work often experience greater overall well-being and life satisfaction. Purpose provides coherence between professional and personal life, contributing to a sense of harmony and fulfillment. It supports mental and emotional health by grounding individuals in something larger than themselves. Purpose is deeply personal, yet it is also shaped by social context. Individuals discover and refine their purpose through relationships, experiences, and reflection. Organizations can support this discovery by providing opportunities for meaningful work, encouraging self-awareness, and fostering environments where values and aspirations can be explored openly. Purpose is not static. It evolves as people grow and as circumstances change. There is a critical distinction between purpose and profit or productivity. While profit is necessary for sustainability and productivity is essential for results, purpose elevates these elements from ends in themselves to means toward a greater good. Purpose ensures that success is not measured solely by numbers, but also by impact, legacy, and contribution to society. This broader definition of success is more motivating and fulfilling. Leadership plays a pivotal role in cultivating purpose. Leaders who articulate and embody purpose inspire others to find meaning in their work. They create narratives that connect individual contributions to the broader vision and values of the organization. Purpose-driven leadership is authentic, transparent, and values-driven. It invites trust and loyalty rather than fear and compliance. Purpose also encourages long-term thinking. Motivation based on short-term gains can be fragile and reactive. Purpose motivates sustained effort because it looks beyond immediate rewards and considers the future impact. It nurtures patience and strategic thinking, enabling individuals and organizations to weather short-term difficulties for long-term success. The connection between purpose and motivation can be seen in countless examples where individuals and teams achieve extraordinary results, not because they were pushed, but because they were pulled by a vision of something meaningful. Purpose turns work into a calling, where the journey itself is a source of fulfillment. Autonomy is a fundamental pillar of motivation that often gets overlooked in traditional management and leadership approaches. It refers to the freedom and control individuals have over how they approach their work, make decisions, and solve problems. When people experience autonomy, they no longer feel like cogs in a machine, following orders without engagement or ownership. Instead, autonomy fosters a sense of responsibility, creativity, and commitment that drives sustained motivation. The desire for autonomy is deeply rooted in human psychology. People naturally seek to direct their own actions and choices. When this need is fulfilled, it activates intrinsic motivation, resulting in higher satisfaction, creativity, and performance. Autonomy is closely tied to the concept of self-determination, where individuals perceive that their actions are self-endorsed rather than imposed externally. This sense of volition strengthens their engagement and willingness to invest effort in their tasks. In contrast, environments that are overly controlling or micromanaged suppress autonomy. When every decision is dictated, or when procedures are rigidly enforced without input, motivation diminishes. People begin to see their work as mere compliance rather than meaningful contribution. This leads to disengagement, reduced innovation, and often burnout. Autonomy, therefore, is not a luxury but a necessity for unlocking human potential in complex and creative endeavors. Autonomy also enhances problem solving and innovation. When individuals have the freedom to explore different approaches, experiment with new ideas, and take calculated risks, they are more likely to discover novel solutions. This freedom encourages divergent thinking, which is essential for innovation. Autonomy creates a safe space for trial and error, where failure is not a punishment but a learning opportunity. Such an environment accelerates growth and improvement. Moreover, autonomy supports resilience. When people are trusted to make decisions and manage their work, they develop confidence and a stronger sense of ownership. This empowers them to navigate challenges more effectively. Instead of feeling helpless when obstacles arise, autonomous individuals feel capable of adapting and finding solutions. This adaptability is key to sustaining motivation over the long term, especially in fast, changing, or uncertain environments. Autonomy does not mean working in isolation or without guidance. Effective autonomy is balanced with clear goals, resources, and support. It involves giving people enough freedom to make meaningful choices while providing alignment around the broader vision and objectives. This balance ensures that autonomy contributes positively to motivation without leading to confusion or misdirection. Leadership plays a crucial role in fostering autonomy. Leaders who trust their teams, delegate authority appropriately, and encourage initiative create cultures where autonomy thrives. They avoid micromanagement and instead act as facilitators, removing obstacles and providing clarity. This approach builds psychological safety, allowing individuals to take ownership without fear of undue criticism or failure. The role of autonomy also extends to learning and personal development. When individuals control their learning paths and have the freedom to pursue interests within their work, motivation increases. Autonomy supports a growth mindset by encouraging curiosity and self-directed exploration. This leads to continuous improvement and deeper engagement with the work. In practical terms, autonomy can take many forms, such as flexible work hours, choice of projects, decision-making authority, or freedom to design workflows. The key is that individuals feel they have meaningful influence over how they do their work. This sense of control enhances satisfaction and reduces stress because people can tailor their approach to their strengths, preferences, and circumstances. Autonomy also fosters accountability. When people feel ownership of their work, they naturally hold themselves responsible for outcomes. This intrinsic accountability is more powerful and sustainable than external enforcement because it is motivated by internal standards and values. Autonomous individuals are more likely to go above and beyond because their engagement is self-driven. The impact of autonomy on motivation is supported by extensive research in psychology and organizational behavior. Studies consistently show that autonomous motivation correlates with higher performance, creativity, well-being, and job satisfaction. It also reduces turnover and absenteeism. Organizations that prioritize autonomy tend to be more agile and innovative, as their employees are more engaged and empowered. While autonomy is vital, it requires a shift in mindset from traditional command and control models to trust-based leadership. This shift challenges leaders to relinquish some control and embrace uncertainty. It requires investing in communication, alignment, and capability building so that autonomy leads to positive outcomes rather than chaos. When done well, the benefits far outweigh the risks. The role of autonomy in motivation also highlights the importance of culture. An organizational culture that values independence, experimentation, and open communication creates fertile ground for autonomy to flourish. Conversely, hierarchical, rigid cultures stifle autonomy and diminish motivation. Building a culture that balances autonomy with shared purpose and collaboration is key to sustained success. Autonomy also intersects with technology and modern work trends. Remote and flexible work arrangements, which have become increasingly common, can enhance autonomy by giving people more control over when and where they work. However, this also requires trust and clear expectations to ensure that autonomy translates into motivation and productivity. Ultimately, autonomy transforms motivation from an external force into an internal drive. It empowers individuals to bring their whole selves to their work, infusing creativity, passion, and dedication. Autonomy turns tasks into meaningful activities because the person driving them is engaged and self-directed. This is where true motivation lives, in the freedom to create, explore, and own the journey. The pursuit of mastery is a fundamental element of motivation that drives individuals to continually improve their skills and deepen their understanding. Mastery is not simply about achieving competence or meeting a baseline standard. It is about the ongoing journey to become better, more skilled, and more effective at what one does. This desire for growth is an intrinsic motivator that fuels long-term engagement and resilience. When people focus on mastery, they are motivated by progress and learning rather than by external rewards or comparisons. Mastery satisfies a deep psychological need to feel capable and effective. It provides a sense of accomplishment that goes beyond transient success because it reflects real growth and development. The process of mastering a skill involves challenges, practice, and sometimes failure, but the incremental improvements create a powerful sense of fulfillment. This progress reinforces motivation by providing tangible evidence that effort leads to growth. The satisfaction of mastering something new creates a positive feedback loop that encourages continued effort and persistence. Growth and mastery are closely linked to the concept of a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. Individuals with a growth mindset embrace challenges and view setbacks as opportunities to learn rather than as threats to their self-worth. This mindset fosters motivation by transforming obstacles into stepping stones for improvement. When people believe they can grow, they are more likely to take risks, seek feedback, and persist in the face of difficulties. Mastery also requires deliberate practice, which is purposeful and focused effort aimed at improving specific aspects of performance. Unlike routine repetition, deliberate practice involves setting clear goals, seeking constant feedback, and pushing beyond one's current comfort zone. This kind of practice is mentally demanding but highly effective for developing expertise. The commitment to deliberate practice is itself a sign of intrinsic motivation. As individuals choose to invest time and energy into growth, even without immediate external rewards, the journey toward mastery is rarely linear. It involves plateaus and setbacks, moments when progress seems slow or stalled. Yet, these periods are essential for deep learning and refinement. Motivation anchored in mastery helps individuals endure these phases without losing enthusiasm. Instead of becoming discouraged, they see these moments as natural parts of the learning curve, trusting that continued effort will eventually yield breakthroughs. Mastery and growth are particularly important in environments that demand creativity and innovation. When individuals focus on improving their craft, they develop the skills and confidence needed to experiment and explore new ideas. Mastery reduces fear of failure because it builds a foundation of competence that supports risk-taking. People motivated by growth are more open to feedback and willing to adapt, which drives continuous improvement and innovation. Organizations that emphasize mastery create cultures where learning is valued over mere output. They provide opportunities for professional development, training, and challenging assignments that push employees to expand their abilities. Such organizations recognize that investing in mastery leads to higher quality work, greater employee engagement, and long-term success. They encourage employees to take ownership of their learning paths and celebrate milestones of progress. The desire for mastery also contributes to employee retention. People want to feel that their work helps them grow and that their talents are recognized and developed. When employees see clear paths for advancement and skill development, motivation and loyalty increase. Conversely, environments that neglect growth opportunities risk losing talent and facing disengagement. Mastery intersects with autonomy because individuals who control how they develop their skills are more motivated to pursue growth. Autonomy allows people to set their own learning goals and choose methods that suit their styles and interests. This personalized approach enhances motivation and leads to more effective mastery. It also aligns with the intrinsic desire to improve for personal satisfaction rather than external validation. The psychological benefits of mastery extend beyond professional life. Achieving growth in any area builds confidence, self-efficacy, and a sense of agency that spill over into other aspects of life. Mastery fosters a positive identity centered on competence and resilience, which strengthens overall well-being. People who pursue mastery tend to have higher self-esteem and a stronger sense of purpose. Technology and modern learning platforms have transformed how mastery can be pursued. Access to online courses, tutorials, and communities allows individuals to engage in lifelong learning with unprecedented flexibility. These tools support deliberate practice by providing resources, feedback, and social support. However, the motivation to use these tools effectively still hinges on the desire for mastery and personal growth. Leadership plays a crucial role in promoting mastery by setting high standards, providing constructive feedback, and recognizing progress. Leaders who value growth encourage experimentation and learning from mistakes rather than penalizing failure. They create psychological safety where employees feel supported in their journey toward mastery. This leadership approach fosters a culture of continuous improvement and shared commitment to excellence. Mastery and growth also shape how people respond to challenges and changes. In dynamic environments, the ability to learn quickly and adapt is critical. Motivation based on mastery drives individuals to keep pace with evolving demands and to seek out new knowledge proactively. It reduces fear of change because the focus is on growth rather than fixed ability. In summary, mastery and growth are powerful motivators because they align with deep human needs for competence, learning, and progress. They transform work and life into ongoing journeys of improvement rather than static achievements. Cultivating a focus on mastery leads to higher engagement, resilience, creativity, and fulfillment, benefiting both individuals and organizations.